Therefore, Roman farmers, soldiers overthrew the last Etruscan king, Tarquin, in 509 before Common Era. The origins of the Rome. Origins of the Roman civilization is in the city of the Rome. Rome was founded on the bank of Tiber River in a lower area of 7 hills. Rome was founded in 753 BCE in an area of easy protection. Because Rome was surrounded by 7 hills. Among these 7 hills, most important hills is a Palatine Hill. Rome was established on this Palatine Hill. On the Roman's east side is the Adriatic Sea. To the Rome's south is the Mediterranean Sea. West side of the Rome was Tyrrhenian Sea. West side of the Rome, there are 3 big islands: Corsica, Sardinia, Sicily. These 3 big islands belong to the Carthaginian Empire in the ancient Rome. This map shows the 7 hills of the Rome. At the time of the establishing of the Rome. The territory in which the Latins settled was called as a Latium. Before its foundations, Italian peninsula was populated by 3 peoples populated by Latins. Latin peoples live in the center of Italy. Greek people settled in the south of Peninsula. Etruscan settled in the north of Peninsula. Etruscan was most powerful. Etruscan conquered and gained control of Asia in 6th century before Common Era. Okay, Etruscan were regions from Asia Minor. Okay. Archaic Rome or Old Rome. Romulus and Remus founded Rome in 753 BCE. Ancient Rome was led by 7 kings during this time. Seven legendary kings were said to have ruled Rome until the last legendary king was Etruscan king. Until the Etruscan king Tarquin was overthrown. After the last Etruscan king Tarquin, Roman Republic was established. During this archaic Roman alphabet, numbering system, and solar system was established. Archaic Rome, ancient Rome, the government system is a monarch system. Romulus was the first king of Rome. Later, this city was occupied by the Etruscans. Therefore, from its foundation until the year 509 before Common Era, before establishing the Roman Republic, Rome was ruled by 7 kings. The first 4 kings were Latin kings, and final 3 kings were Etruscan kings. Total 7 kings ruled the Rome in the ancient Rome. The last Etruscan king, Tarquin the Proud, was divorced because he was tyrant. During the monarchy system, the king ruled with the help of the Senate. Senate was made up of patricians. Patricians is a land-holding, high-class people, holy people. And this Senate was only advisory assembly with no decision-making powers. Therefore, the king, Roman king, monarchy king, have all the power to make any decisions. Okay, region of the founding of the Rome. According to the region, Rome was founded in Palatine Hill by Romulus in 753 before Common Era. Reason has it that the twin brothers, Lemurs, founded the city. According to the tale, twins' mother was a Latin woman. Their father was a war god of Mars. This tale leads the Romans to believe that they had a divine origin. Lemurs became the first king. Twin brothers and lemurs were put in the basket in the Tiber River. A female wolf found these babies and fed them her milk. Later, a shepherd adopted these two boys. When these two boys grew up, they decided to build a city by the Tiber River. But they argued which location is the best to build the Roman city. Argued. Finally, Lemurs killed his twin brother Lemurs, and Lemurs became the first king of the Rome. Okay, section A, Roman Republic before Roman Empire, 133 before Common Era. From its origins in Latium, Rome evolved into the Republic with expansionist ambitions. Republic elected representative. Okay, Roman Republic before Roman Empire, foundation of the city of Rome. Latins was in the European speaking tribes, Italic tribe. These Latins inhabited small region known to Ratia from 1200 along Tiber Valley and river. The Etruscan king ruled the first Rome around 650 BC before Republic was established. Founding of Roman Republic. Roma revolt against Etruscan king. This Roman revolt led to the foundation of Roman Republic. Therefore, Rome did not want one people to have all power, just like the Etruscan king. Turkey, very brutal and treated the Latin people very badly. Therefore, Rome did not want one person to have all power. Roman Republic unified Italy at the expense of these Etruscans, Greeks people in the south, and a small number of Celts people of the peninsula. Structure of the Roman Republic. Roman Republic consists of two big category of classes: patricians and plebeians. Patricians were the noble person, land-holding upper classes. Plebeians is the farmers, merchants, artisans, traders, low class. Governing body was the Senate and consuls. Plebeians elected the consuls. First, patrician elected the consuls. However, in the later times, plebeians elected the consuls, tribunes, instead of consuls. Okay? A dictator was a temporary position who is assigned to be in charge of, in the event of war, only for 6 months. This slide shows patricians versus plebeians. Plebeians have no say in the government. Eventually, plebeians, common people, commoners, get to elect their own officials. Their own officials is called as a plebeian tribunes. In 494 before Common Era, for 84 years, plebeians, common people, fought against the patricians to have a law in each part of the government. Finally, plebeians take power and elected their representative. Their representative is referred as tribunes, just like consuls. This map shows the Italy in 600 before Common Era in ancient Rome. The brown color represents the settlement of the Greek people in the south of the peninsula. Blue color represented the settlement territory of Etruscans in the north of the peninsula. Dark green color represented the territory of Carthage. As you can see in this map, the island, three islands, big island, Corsica, Sardinia, Sicily, are the territory of Carthage. Rather, these three big islands belongs to the Rome. However, in ancient Rome, these three islands were the territory of Colosseums. Natural law. Roman developed the system of natural law that they believed. This natural law applied to all the people, whether Roman or not. What is a natural law? Killing of people is a criminal. This is an example of natural law. The struggle of the elders or the conflict of the elders during 494 to 283, 87 before Common Era. What is the struggle of the order? Struggle of the orders was a political struggles, conflict between plebeians, commoners, common people, and patricians, aristocrats, noble persons of the ancient Roman Republic. This conflict of the orders were lasted from 500 BCE to 286 BCE. During this time, plebeians saw political equality with the patricians. Before the struggle of this order, all the powers belongs to the king and the patricians. However, after the struggle of the power, the plebeians, common people, had but equal power with the patricians. Over the time, the principle that all Roman citizens were equal before the law. This principle will prevail during the Roman Republic. The Romans offered the benefit of the citizenship to the people they conquered. The citizens elect the government. This is referred as a kind of democracy. After the more than 200 years fight against the patricians, noble persons, common people take a power. The power was shared between commissions, magistrate, and senate. Senate was a council of citizens from the most important families, patricians. Senate was responsible for deciding foreign policies and upholding decisions made by commissions. Commissions is today the parliamentary assembly. Commissions were assemblies. This assembly was formed by the citizens. In which, in the assembly, magistrates were elected by the citizens. Why is it magistrate? Magistrate is a chief of each department in federal government. Okay, today. Okay, magistrates were chosen and law were passed in these commissions, and decisions about going to war were taken or not. This decision making was taken in the commissions, in the assembly, consists of the citizenship. Magistrates were annually elected by the commissions. Commissions elected 2 magistrates every 1 year. Per every 1 year. The most important magistrates were called as the consuls or tribunes of the plebeians and dictator. Three participant rule in the Roman Republic: consuls, tribunes, and dictators. All 3 titles are referred as a magistrate. Magistrate. 3 types of magistrate. Dictator was a temporary position. And the consuls, tribunes, two consuls, 2 tribunes were elected for every year. In the Roman Republic, initially, the patricians still had all the power. Only patricians could be part of the Senate. Only noble person, land-holding person can be a part of a Senate and have all power. And these patricians could hold the public office, okay, and become high-ranking public officers. The patricians in the Senate made laws, have a power to make a law. Patricians and the consuls. Consuls were elected by the patricians, executing the law. And the patricians were also the judges who punished the lawbreakers. Because of this, the common people, plebeians, began to fight for their rights. This was established in the law of the 12 tables. Law of the 12 tables covered, did all of the criminals. All the people are equal under the law of the 12 tables. During this time, to praise the three punic words against the Carthage. These three punic words faced the Romans and Carthaginians. The Romans emerged victorious in all the battles, and consequently, Rome had control of the Mediterranean Sea and other places, such as Iberian Peninsula, and take of three big islands: Corsica, Sardinia, Sicily. The Roman Republic was ended, finished, when some magistrate and generals, including Julius Caesar, also Pompey and Crassus. Pompey, Crassus, Julius Caesar was first triumvirate. But Julius Caesar take control of the government of the Rome in 48 before Common Era. Caesars were proclaimed perpetual dictator with all the power. Originally, dictator was a temporary position in the event of war. That temporary period is only 6 months. However, Caesars was proclaimed that he was a perpetual dictator. This slide shows the Finnish words Carthage. Carthage is a most big rival to the Rome. Carthage is an empire throughout the Mediterranean. Rome fought against Carthage in 3 wars from 264 BC to 146, 111 years. By the Third Punic War, Rome was completely destroyed the Carthage and gained all of the Carthage territory. Okay, Punic War, Roman Mediterranean dominations, Roman military power. Rome built the most powerful army of its day. Conflicts between Rome and Carthage. Carthage was the Rome's main rival for control of Mediterranean. Competition between Carthage and Rome led to the Punic War, which resulted in defeat of Carthage and more powerful, expensive Rome. First Punic War. During 264 to 241 before Common Era. Main point of territorial conflict between Rome and Carthage was control of the Sicily, island of Sicily. Rome gained control of island of Sicily, Sardinia, and Corsica aided the raider. That is the reason of First Punic War. Second Punic War during 218 to 201 BCE. The most important fight during the Second Punic War was the general Hannibal. Carthaginian famous general Hannibal crossed the Alps in the winter, and Hannibal invaded Italy with an army of elephant army, and defeated the Roman Republic. During the Second Punic War, Hannibal won. However, during the Third Punic War, during 149 to 146 BCE, the Third War embarked on extended siege of Carthage, surrounded Carthaginian area. This Third Punic War was ended in the cities throughout the destruction of Carthage. Roman destructed all of the Carthage territory. Carthaginian people defeated and fled toward to the south, to the Africa. Roman Republic, Roman catch a lot of Carthaginian and made them as a slave. A legacy of a Punic War. Preservation of Roman Republic ideas. Roman Republic ideas were preserved in all of the territory. After the Punic War, Roman dominations of the Mediterranean led to change in social stratifications, gender relationship, and institution of the slavery system. This slide shows the Mediterranean world at the time of Roman Empire, too huge to control. Okay. Changes in society, change in culture after the Roman victory of Carthage. Social stratifications. The expanding Roman state fails. There are a lot of serious social problems. The gap, big gap between rich people and poor people, gender relationship, woman's indirect influence within patriarchal structure. Patriarchal structure. Slavery. Romans military conquest increased the slave populations. Owing the slaves became status marker. The perils of increased slave ownership was shown by a revolt this slave revolt was led by the gladiator named Spartacus. This map shows that contemporary mosaic shows the female Roman student who were wearing the togas. What is the toga? Toga was considered as a formal wear and were generally reserved for citizens. Only Roman citizens can wear the toga. Wearing a toga. Section B. Dissatisfaction with the Republic, Roman Republic. The expansion of Roman territory led inevitably to profound political change, economic change, social change in the Roman world. Therefore, Gracchus brothers reform Tiberius and Gaius Gracchus, two brothers, were patricians, common people, low-class people. They were elected patricians, tribunes govern the government, Roman Republic, in the assembly. And tribunes were elected by the patricians, common people. These two brothers work to get the state, to get the Roman state to dispute his land to the poor farmers. They work to get the Roman state to buy grain to feed the poor people. Therefore, Senate, land holding people, noble person, high-ranking people, Senate, they were the Gracchus brothers, Gracchus tribunes were threatened to its Senate power. Therefore, Senate hired thirds in order to kill the brothers and their followers. Social discontent and the decline in popular rule. crisis in the countryside of the Roman Republic. Italian countryside were devastated by the 3 times Punic Wars and returning the veterans, citizen soldiers from the Punic Wars. They returned after the Punic War. They returned their home. However, they have no choice, no job. Therefore, returning military men sell, no choice but to sell their land and look for other forms of their employment because they have no job after the victory of the Punic War. Therefore, in addition, there are a lot of revolt of the Italian allies, rises of the dictator Sulla. First, dictator Sulla put down the rebellion by Rome's Italian allies, and Sulla became a military dictator, and Sulla ended Roman Republic effectively. With the Roman Republic in decline, the ambitious general maneuvered to follow the Sulla's lead. Julius Caesar won the competitions against the Sulla, and Julius declared himself the dictator of Rome. Who is Caesar? Caesar was a dictator for 10-year period. He instituted a lot of reforms. He distributed the rent to the soldiers, to the poor peoples. He reduced the use of the slavery. Caesar earned him the support of common people. Therefore, Senate feared losing to the Caesars. Finally, Caesar was murdered by a group of the senators. Julius Caesar's dictatorship during 45 to 44 BCE, 11 years. In 100 BCE, Julius Caesar was born in the Rome. He was from the important family. So, in 61 before Common Era, he became the governor of the Spain. Next, Caesar went to fight the Gauls in France. Gaul is a Gallia, and the Gaul is a Latin word. Latin word of the Gallia was a goal. The goals settled in the today France. Caesar was a brilliant general, and he conquered all of the France. Caesar's soldiers loved the Caesars, but Senate Pompey thought Caesar was too much powerful. So the Senate Pompey ordered the Caesars to return to the Rome. Caesar returned to the Rome according to the Pompey's order. But he brought his army with him and started the sea war with Pompey. Caesar won victory and Pompey was killed. Caesar made himself a consul and dictator for the life. The Senate were afraid that Caesar wanted to be a king of Roman Republic. So Senate murdered him in 44 BCE. That is the short story of the Julius Caesar. Dissatisfaction with the republic. Okay. Struggle for power in 40 BC. Caesar, Julius Caesar, Crassus, Pompey formed first triumvirate, a political alliance that dominated Roman politics for several years. Julius Caesar won the competition and declared him the dictator of the Rome. Assassination, Senate appeared, losing to him. Murder, he was murdered by a group of senators on Eve of March, the 5th day of the March, 44 before Common Era. Civil War. His assassination led to the Civil War and the rise of Octavian. After the murder of Caesar, Roman Republic turned to the Roman Empire. Civil War break out to decide who should hold the power after the Julius Caesars. The Senate wanted to keep the status quo. Political leaders wanted to weaken the Senate and enact the reforms. Slave uprising throughout the Roman Republic. Gladiators called as Spartacus. The armies became loyal to their commanders instead of the Senate, because their commanders gave the armies, soldiers, benefit such as the capture the land and capture the slave. Therefore, the soldiers follow their commanders and became loyal to their commanders instead of the Senate. This slide shows the tombstone of Roman soldiers. Tombstones are a very, very important sources of information about Roman army. Archaeology of deaths provide the general detail into lives and practice of Imperial Roman army. The birth of Roman Empire, section C. Under the Octavian, Roman institutions were reshaped but kept an appearance of republic institutions. Okay, Roman Empire began in 27 before Common Era, when the Senate gave political power and religious power to Augustus Octavian. Augustus had all the power and political institutions lost their importance. There are a lot of name of title of Augustus. Imperators means rid of military. Princeps means first citizen of the Senate. Augustus means the same level of God. Pontifex Maximus means highest religious authority in the Roman Empire. Some of the most important episodes are included as follows. Pax Romana, a long period of peace in Rome. This period lasted 2 centuries, from 1st century to 2nd century before the Common Era. Territorial conquest. Roman Empire reached its maximum size. The emperor Caracalla granted the citizenship to all free men in 212. Common Era. Edict of Milan in 313. Emperor Constantine allowed the freedom of worship to every person, every people. Pax Romana. This slide shows the Pax Romana. P means the peace of Rome. Pax means, Pax is a Latin word, means the peace of Rome. Pax Romana started under Augustus' reign, lasted 200 years. Period of government and social stability. Empire expanded and flourished. Increase in trade brought great wealth and funded massive building projects. However, the poor made the majority of the populations. Poor people live in squalid conditions, dirty conditions. Most children died before age of 10. The rise of Octavian, the second triumvirate, Octavian, Anthony, Lepidus form the second triumvirate in order to defeat Caesar's killers, Anthony and Cleopatra. Octavian went on in order to defeat Anthony and Cleopatra of Egypt. The Battle of Actium, located in Ionian Sea on September 2nd, 31 before Common Era. Roman leader Octavian wins a decisive victory against the forces of Roman Anthony and Cleopatra, Queen of Egypt. Consolidation of the power, political power. Octavian took the title Augustus and undertook the restructuring the Roman institutions, accommodate expanding Roman Empire. Germany, barbarians, to the Romans, anyone who were not a citizen of the Rome or who did not speak Latin was considered as barbarians. In the Europe, there were 5 major barbarian tribes: Huns, Mongolian tribe or Turkish tribe, Franks, Vandals, Saxons, Visigoths are all main 5 barbarian tribes, but all of 5 major barbarian tribes hated Rome. These Germanic barbarians started to take over the part of the Roman Empire. This slide shows the Caesar Augustus, Emperor of the Rome. Augustus was the Rome's first emperor, and Augustus Octavian was one of the most accomplished leaders in the world history. Augustus laid the foundation of a 200-year Pax Romana and empire. Pax Romana Empire rested in various forms. This empire lasted for nearly 1,005 years. Greco-Roman cultures. What were the principal achievements of the Greco-Roman cultures? Military superiority and material prosperity during these Greco-Roman cultures. Virgil, Ovid, Horace were three famous poets in the Roman Empire. These three famous poets incorporated German themes in their writings. Latin languages. Latin became the dominant language of the empire, and most of the Europe. But the empire faced significant challenges. French, Italian, Portuguese are known as the Romans' language because of their Roman origins. Architecture contributions. Aqueducts were built to supply the land with the water during the Roman Empire. This slide shows the Roman aqueduct located in the Spain. What is the aqueduct? Roman aqueduct was a channel that is used to transport the fresh water to the highly populated areas. Granite and natural slope of land allow the aqueduct to channel the water from freshwater sources, lake, or spring, to each state. This aqueduct was constructed during the Roman Empire. Challenges to Augustus' work. First, the succession problems. After the Augustus' death, succession problem was incurred. Okay? And the size of the Roman Empire is too big, too large to rule. Augustus ruled as an imperator. Augustus conquered Spain, Germany, southeastern Europe, and ruled this territory as an imperator. Monotheism challenges of Roman polytheism religions. Roman polytheism allow a lot of gods of conquered people to be incorporated into the larger pantheon of Roman God. However, monotheism is by its very nature intolerant, and monotheism is posed the problem for the Roman Empire. Christianity posed the problem for the Roman Empire. This map shows the Roman Empire. at the time of 138 Common Era, during the Augustus reign. During the Augustus 40 years' reign, Augustus nearly doubled the size of the Roman Empire, adding the territories in Europe, Asia Minor, today Turkey, and securing alliance that gave him the effective rule from Britain to India. Chaldean emperor conquered the Britain and extended more territory to the Roman Empire. Roman religions and rise of Christianity, section 4. Rome's polytheistic religion. Principal God and rest deities. Polytheism of Roman religion helped the Roman Empire to assimilate its diverse subject to simulate the conquering territories. Polytheism of Roman Empire's religion allowed the gods of the conquered people to be incorporated into the larger pantheon of Roman God. Conquered people require to respect the main Roman God. Religion. Romans were polytheistic. They believed in many gods and believed in many godnesses. Many of the gods were adapted from the Greek god. Example, Roman god, Jupiter, the ruler of all gods, were adapted from the Greek god, ruler of all goods, Zeus. Jupiter was adapted from the Greek god Zeus. Roman calendar was full of feasts and celebrations to honor the Roman gods and Roman goddesses, temples for worship, to ask for divine assistance. Jewish resistance and Eastern cult. Jewish people considered themselves as the chosen people. There were mutual mistrust between the Romans and the Jewish people. Roman Empire was suspicious of the Jews because, unlike most Roman subjects, Jews were intolerant and exclusive, protected, isolated, until it was challenged by Christianity. Roman religion served was a big help to support the Roman imperial rule. However, Judaism and Christianity came to a force threat, a serious challenge against the Roman Empire. Forms of resistance the challenges of Judaism against Roman belief system was rooted in Jewish resistance to the Roman rule. There are two types of Jewish sect. Gilead sect practices terrorism against both the Roman Empire and Jews who work with the Roman Empire. Essence sect had special admirations for Moses and believed that the end of the world was quickly approaching. The Jesus of Nazareth. The Jesus of Nazareth was born into Judaism faith. He emphasized on the spirituality of his rule. Jewish opposite against the Jesus. Pontius Pilate condemned the Jew Jesus based on the Jewish people's claim. This slide shows the excavations of Qumran. Qumran was located at the northwest of the Dead Sea. This Qumran excavation revealed how the Athens lived around 150 before Common Era. Qumran is an archaeological site in the West Bank. This West Bank was managed by Israel's Qumran National Park. Qumran caves are recognized in Israel as the site of uniquely Israel Jewish heritage, despite the caves being occupied in Palestinian territories. Paul of Tarsus and spread of Christianity, transformation of Christianity. Peter and Paul disagree to whom Jesus' message applied. Peter focused on the Jews. However, Paul focused on the conversion of Gentiles. Gentiles means non-Jewish people. Peter only focused on the Jewish people, however, Paul focused on the non-Jewish people. Universalism of Christianity. Christianity grew out the Judaism, but under the fall of the Tarsus was challenged to the universal religion. And Paul of Tarsus welcomed the conversion of Gentiles. Rome's views of Christianity Roman rulers distrust Christians because out of concern for Roman law and Roman order, imperial authorities were suspicious of Christianity, and over the time, persecution of Christians increased. This slide shows the saying of Mumbai of Georgia. Mumbai is a Christian martyred by the Roman Empire. This picture is shown with a cross in one hand while riding a lion. Lion symbolizes this trump of death and ignorance. Section 5. From Golden Age to the disarray of Roman Empire. Commercial connection and imperial expansions. Roman Golden Age during the 69 to 118 Common Era. Roman Golden Age brought prosperity to the Mediterranean Sea and connected Mediterranean Sea to the world wide. The expansion and encouragement of trade, Romans built the enormous area of interconnected free trade and transport. Romans' commercial expansion connected Europe and India. Roman mariners sailed regularly from ports in Egypt through Indian Ocean to the Indus River. This slide shows the Roman Colosseum. Roman Emperor Vespasius, Roman Emperor. Vespasius is one of the Emperor Nero's commanders generals. After the Nero's, Vespasius consolidated Roman rule, and he began to the building of a Colosseum. This map shows the Rome's economic organizations of the Mediterranean world at the time of 180 Common Era. This map shows the modern quarter of Appian Way. Appian Way was a part of the network of Roman law. Appian Way facilitated the travel and commerce throughout Roman Empire. Appian Way was used as a main route for military supplies since its constructions for their purpose in 312 before Common Era. Appian Way lands southeast from Rome to Taranto.